Hey everybody. Hi. Welcome to my first live. I'm super excited. I know you guys aren't here yet, so hopefully you all show up. I'm so excited to be doing this. I was having some technical difficulties trying to figure this out, and then obviously the simplest way is always the way it works, so I ended up getting it together last minute. But yeah, I'll just give you ladies a few minutes to come in and just say hi when you come in. And yeah, so the way I want to set this video up is basically having a goddess check-in. And what a goddess check-in is when you ladies reach out to me one-on-one and we get to talk about whatever you want to talk about in your dating life, in your relationships, in your marriage. And usually during these goddess check-ins, I will have you on Zoom, and we would communicate through Zoom, and you would let me see your dating profile if that's what you are looking for help on, or you would let me see, whatever you need to let me know about your dating history and what's going on with that. And then we would just, go through it, and I give you my expertise on it, and I'll edit your profiles. I'll help you in conversation. I'll give you homework and little things that you could be doing to improve your life daily. And that's basically how I kind of set it up. It's really fun getting to know you ladies who have taken advantage of that, because I just find so much value in speaking with you all and hearing different perspectives and understanding your life, because I only know my life, right? I only know what I have experienced. So hearing your experiences and being in some kind of way, some type of help to you all is amazing. And yeah, I'm super grateful to be able to be doing that with you ladies. If you didn't know, I also had a special gift for you ladies, and it's down in the description. So I created the love book. Now, this is not an actual chapter book or anything like that. It's actually a workbook, and I created it for your manifesting. And this is specifically manifesting your soulmate. I do believe that in this life, we have multiple soulmates. We have soulmates that become friends, that are family, that are, just a person we've been with before, or people in the past. It just keeps on happening in your life. You keep on connecting with these people who are supposed to be on this journey with you. And I set this up so you can call in your lover soulmate, the man that you desire, the man of your dreams. So that is a really fun workbook that I put together, and it's down in the description. It's absolutely free, so I highly recommend using that. That's actually something that I use with my clients who reach out to me for that goddess check-in, and I use that kind of template. I have affirmation in there for you to recite to yourself every day. I have action prompts to ask you questions, so it's really filled with a lot of information that can really help you with your manifesting and just clearing your mind and letting you have a clear intention on what exactly you want in your life. So yeah, in this video, I'm actually setting it up similarly. You ladies have already asked me questions, so I have some of those questions in there that I am going to look through here to find. And also, you can ask me questions just right in the chat box, and I will answer them for you. So I think I should start answering some of the questions that I got this week and last week, just questions that I have here that you ladies asked me. Let me pull that up. Okay. I have my laptop here, so that's why I'm looking down. Let's see. So the first question that I see here Sorry, this is my first time doing this, so please bear with me. Okay. So, okay, I have another question here. So I'll pull this one up while I'm trying to figure out how to pull up the other ones. Alchemy Goddess Tarot, hey, says, what are your thoughts on cooking and cleaning? My husband doesn't believe in helping with cooking and cleaning on a regular basis. He'll help me around the house, but if I ask, he resents me later. So that is a great question. So it kind of depends on like what your whole situation is. Like, are you working as well? Are you both working? Or if you're like a housewife, and that kind of determines what you have going on during your day when it comes to cooking and cleaning. In my case, I am a housewife, so I do most of the cooking. My husband doesn't know how to cook, but so I do most of the cooking, but he'll like wash the dishes, right? And for the cleaning, I try to keep the house pretty much like as clean as possible because I just like putting things away as much as possible. But we also do have like a cleaner that comes in. So I think it depends on exactly what um, you kind of have set up in your house and what makes it easier for you. If you do need help with it and he's not helping you with it, I would just like suggest getting a cleaner that comes at least once or twice a week, like once a week or once every 2 weeks. And that way you can like get some help in it and not make it a big deal. Because if he really doesn't like cooking or cleaning, and maybe you do it better, then I would just like say, I'll do it, but then get help outside the house. I thought about it, and he provides and allows me to have time to enjoy the things I value: health, finance, and inner peace. Yeah, so that's the same thing. So I'm in the same boat. Sometimes, you get tired, but my husband doesn't like demand that I cook. I think that's like something that people kind of think that it's like. I don't know your situation, but I don't have to cook every day, and I don't cook every day. Sometimes I'm like, hey, go get something outside, or pick up this for us. I don't necessarily want to cook every day, and that's perfectly fine with my husband. Again, he doesn't cook at all, like nothing. So I'm like, how were you surviving before I came into your life? And it's probably just all takeout and going to the restaurants. So like, I would just balance it out. But if you are a housewife and just for your own sake, your own sanity, I would just keep the space clean. And with cooking, again, if he knows how to cook, some days he cooks, some days you have takeout, but don't make it like a priority that you have to cook all the time. Like, that's not necessarily true. I don't believe that. So, yeah. I have another question and this is like from a previous question that I had. It says, from Simply Sophia, there is a man. Okay, this is probably better if I copy it here so I can read it better. Okay, let me see. She says, there is a man currently that I am talking to who is persistent, even though I am not giving him much attention because I am not over my ex, and I've told him this. He revealed to me recently and told me twice now that he initially didn't find me attractive. Okay. It's interesting. When we first met, even though he literally slid into my DMs out of nowhere. Anyway, he said he really enjoyed my company though, and said I look amazing the next 2 times I saw him. He's persistent in an overbearing way and nags me to meet him. I refuse because he just wants to hang out. And to me, that doesn't give serious looking for spouse vibes. He took me to on a proper date in the beginning, and the 2 other times weren't. Why would he persist for weeks, even though he said that about me about my attractiveness? Is just strange to me. Okay, so this is a lot. So to answer your question, I guess the question is about this guy. So basically, I would like, if a guy told me that he wasn't attracted to me when he first saw me, then I would automatically not even be focused on him. He's just not someone that I would be focused on. And the whole time that I'm talking to him, he would have to make it up to me. So in your case, where he took you on a proper date before, and then last 2 times he just like tried to chill with you, the next time he hits you up, you need to just ask him like, okay, where are we going? And then when he just tells you like, oh, like I just want to chill and hang out in the house, I would just be like, well, that's not really fun. Like, I don't want to do that. I would just be very honest about what I wanted to do. If I wanted to go shopping, I would say, well, I want to go shopping. If I wanted to go to like this fancy restaurant, I would let him know what restaurant I wanted to go to. Because he said that, I would just be really like blunt, straight up honest with him on like where I want to go, what I want to do, because he would have to be making it up to me the whole entire time. So I don't play with that. Like, if you tell me, oh, I wasn't that attracted to you in the beginning, oh, okay, cool. Now I'm going to do what I want. And what I want to do is what we're going to do. I'm not going to do anything you want me to do. I'm not going to like just try to play nice the whole time. I'm just going to be like, okay, fine. Well, if you want to hang out, I want to go here, I want to go there. And if he just wants to hang out in his house, yeah, no, it's not going to happen. So no. Okay, Alchemy says he's upset that I suggested that he start cooking and cleaning. He's been upset for 3 weeks. How do I help him pass this disagreement and misunderstanding? I would just so this is the thing. If someone's mad at you for 3 weeks, that's pretty long to be mad. So I would just apologize and say, okay, like I understand where you're coming from. I would just like concede to his way of thinking. Like, I would just kind of put it away because it's not that serious. Cooking and cleaning is not that serious unless he's not allowing you to take breaks. And I would have that type of conversation and be like, well, if you don't want to cook, that's perfectly fine. Can we go to dinner those nights? Can we do takeout those nights? You know, can we do this? Because it's a lot for me to have to cook and clean every day. And, you know, just make those kind of compromises. But I would just like apologize first, because if he's mad for 3 weeks, that's a long time. And it's just not worth it if you're married to be in that type of like energy for that long. So I would be like the bigger person in that situation and just be like, yeah, all right, like, let's, you know, I understand where you're coming from. I see that you're working really hard. I would just like kind of smooth over to his side and then let him know that you need help. And it doesn't necessarily have to come from him. It could be takeout. It could be a cleaner. It can be other ways of doing it, but you know, it's not going to come from him, and that's perfectly fine. But then he would just be paying outside the house to get that. And that's fine. So making that compromise, I think, is the best way to go for you. I definitely wouldn't keep it going that long. Hi, Debbie. Hey, girl. Can you share any advice you have on how to heal from a breakup from a long-term relationship of 6 years? It's been 4 months and it still hurts hard at times. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm so sorry you're going through this. This is a thing that I get a lot from you ladies who reach out to me, is especially when you're going through a breakup. And I completely understand how that feels. I definitely sympathize with you because it's been so long. And that's the thing that kind of hits us women, is because when we see like how much time we spent with a person, then for it to turn around and kind of end. It's pretty hard. But I will tell you this. The thing about life is that people come into your life all the time, whether it's for a short time, whether it's for a long time. People are coming in and out of your life. And for the experiences that they give you in that life, all you have to do is be grateful for it. Be grateful for the time that you spent with each other. Be grateful for what you've learned from one another. Be grateful for just all the things that you guys shared together, and allow him to go out of your life. Allow him to be someone else's person. Like you have to in some way like accept that they're not there anymore. And I've done this so many times, and I just let them go with love. I don't think about the bad things that he's done with me. I don't think about all of the negative feelings that I've had. I just let them go with love and just say, I'm so grateful for the time that we spent together. I've learned so much. It was so valuable. And now we're moving on. And I give you love and respect. And I'm happy that we're able to leave each other. Nobody, passed away. Nobody's hurt, like in a physical way. We just like, it's going to be grieving, but you have to let them go with love. And if they did do something bad to you, if it was cheating, if it was anything like that, or you just feel really hurt because of something they did, you also have to know like this happened for a reason. And it's now not about them. It's about you figuring out that reason to better yourself and moving on from that. Like, I know for me, before I got with my husband, there was this guy that I was dating for a while, and we were dating through COVID, and I kind of started like backing off of him during COVID because I just wanted a lot of alone time. And he started dating someone else. And then I found out that he was dating someone else. He moved in another girl, and all this other stuff was happening with him and this other girl. And he was still trying to get with me, but like he had this other girl. And it just made me sit back and think. And I was like mad. And I was like telling everybody that I knew. I was like, oh my God, he's like dating this other girl. He moved her in and everything like that. And I was so upset with him. And then I realized down the line, I was like, this guy is not that bad of a guy. We had so many great moments, and I wasn't that great to him. He didn't end up being great to me, but I can't keep telling this negative story about him. I can't let this be the energy that I have with him. So I just was like, I'm done talking bad about him. I'm only going to, take the good that I received from him, which was a lot. He was a very generous guy. He was, just a lot of fun. He was cool to be around with. I liked being around him. I wasn't even that serious about him. So that's a little different from your situation. But I was still telling these bad stories because of the way it ended. So if you are in that type of situation where you're telling yourself these like negative stories and telling people these negative stories, I would just say stop doing that and just accept and let him go with love. And look forward to your future. Something that I always do, whether it's just with anything in life, is I always say the next thing is going to be better, and it always is. So if you just look to your future and you think, okay, I learned what I need to learn from here, I let him go with love, my future is going to be so much better, so much brighter. You're going to be happy that you went through that to get to where you want. So I hope that helps. Okay. So Alchemy says, I didn't know he was mad for 3 weeks until recently. He mentioned that it bothered him that I was watching a video about this topic 3 weeks ago. Oh, okay. So he's been holding on to this. So yeah, at that point, I would just, like I said, I would just I would kind of move on from it. I would apologize and move on. And then, I mean, if you're married, that's the thing. Like when you're married, you pretty much have access to everything. So you don't necessarily have to like ask him. Obviously, that's the setup in your place. But, with the cooking and cleaning, I wouldn't make it a big deal again. If he was like feeling some type of way about it, perfectly fine. I would, be calling takeout and it would be no problem. Like if I don't want to cook, I'm not cooking. It's just not happening. And my husband knows that. your husband, he doesn't want to hear about it, that's fine. I would just call DoorDash. We're having takeout tonight, and plate it up, act like you cooked it. I don't care. But yeah, I would just not make it a situation and move on from it. Okay. Hey, Kat. Hey, girl. That's my sister. Hey, Catherine. What's the best practice on how to stop men from manipulating women, from shifting their expectations to settling for less only because they have chemistry with the person? So this is a huge thing that women tend to do. And thank you so much for this question, because this is something that so many women do because they want a relationship so bad. So they're willing to just kind of adhere to whatever the guy says that he wants. And this is a huge mistake, because something that you need to know is that men actually do respect boundaries. They respect what you want. They respect your whatever ideals that you have on a man. So for me and my husband, and I bring this up because I can only talk about my experience, right? But we didn't agree with everything before we got married, right? There were certain things that, we kind of clashed on, and I wasn't budging. I wasn't going to change my mind about it. I wasn't going to, adhere to what he thought about certain things. I was just going to do what I felt was right for me. And then, he conceded to that. He was just like, all right, whatever, she's going to do it. It's fine. And it wasn't nothing like bad or detrimental or anything like that. But it was like, I had my hard boundaries that I just wasn't going to give up on, and he accepted it and just moved on. So I think that's the thing with women, is like, you have these like flexible boundaries and these things that, you think are malleable, right? And he looks at you as like very malleable, because he's like, well, you saying this, but this is what I really want. And because you want a relationship so bad, because you like him so much, you're willing to give up your own boundaries just to be with that type of guy. And that to me is like wasting time. So if you want a provider man, right? Because this is the biggest thing that I see a lot. A lot of women want providers, like they want men who can hold their own, don't need their money, don't need, anything like that. And then they meet a guy, they think he's cool, you guys are connecting and everything like that. And then he's like, well, in this economy, I hate when people say that, but in this economy, we need two dual incomes. And women just like, okay, like I'll provide, I'll put some money in, I'll do that, even though that's not what they want, even though they don't believe in that, they don't want that, but they will do that because they like the guy, right? But your values aren't aligned. That's not exactly the chemistry of liking someone isn't going to last in the long run where your values are off. So if you really want something that's like value based, not chemistry based, but like in your values list, then you need to be straight up and honest with them and let them know, like, this is what I want. And if it's not going to work between us, then, let's part our ways here now. And you want to know this like early on. You want this to happen like pretty early on in the relationship, in the dating phase, because you don't want to waste time with the person. And especially if it comes with compromises. So yeah, I would definitely, but I think if you are dating the way that I kind of made a video on, what was it? How to vet a guy. I kind of talk about how you can like get past those things. So thank you. Alexandria, hi Isabel. Hey girl. Hi. Long time no see. Hope everything is great with you. Thank you for being here. Debbie says, yes, I totally agree. Thanks, Isabel. I also going through anger phase. Yeah. And the anger phase is, it's going to be there, but you have to like just stop telling the bad story, stop telling the negative story, because what we're not realizing is that our words are spells, and everything that we say is going to manifest in our lives. So if we're just like, oh, he was this, he was this, he was this, he was this, keep it to yourself, write it out, write it and throw it away, kind of let it out of your system and just think about the positive, think about what you want and move on from that direction. And, I've done that and it's worked wonders. So I definitely Agree. Alexandria. Um, how do you accept aging as a woman? I'm so stressed about turning 30 and I honestly feel desperate to settle and I'm sure it shows. Okay, so to let you know, 30 is not old. Okay, I'm 32 and I don't feel old. So, but yes, I totally get what you're saying. When you're 29, you do go through that stage because you're moving on from one decade of your life to the next decade of your life and what you want that to look like and what you're expecting your life to be like. But if you realize that your 20s was like such a learning phase, like such a seeing of what you like, what you don't like, and stuff like that, then it's easier for you to move into your 30s feeling like, okay, I know what I want. I can go get it. You know, I have a clearer mind. This is like what I want. Then it becomes more exciting instead of feeling like stressed out about it, right? So you have to like kind of accept like the 20s are over. I learned not everything, but a lot of things about myself, what I want in my 20s. And now I have to like look to my 30s as I'm going to get it, right? And be excited for that. That's exactly what I did during my process. If you ladies know, when I was 30, that's when I met my husband. And I knew when I was 29, I actually threw a 29, I called it a dusty party. And I threw this 29th birthday party to celebrate my 20s, and this was the last year, and I was gonna do everything that I wanted to do in my 20s. And I knew when I was going to turn 30 everything was going to change. There was going to be a complete shift. I was going to focus on different things, and I was preparing for that. So it was exciting for me. It was like, okay, I know what I want. I know what I'm going to get. I know where my focus is at. And then I got it because I was focused and excited about it. So I would definitely say like just getting excited about it instead of being stressed, because if you know you want marriage, if you know those are things that you want, then like focus in on that and be excited for it. Because when you're manifesting something like that, you need to have the biggest thing for manifesting. I'll say this, the biggest thing for manifesting is knowing that you attract things with your emotions. So if you have a high vibrating emotion, like an elevated emotion, such as love, gratefulness, happiness, like this is like real, like positive vibes, you're going to attract that thing even quicker, even better. But if you're in like lower vibration, like, oh my God, I'm stressed out, I can't believe this is going to happen, that's what you're going to attract. And you're not going to be able to attract what you actually want. So you want to stay in high vibrations. You want to stay in like a grateful sense of like, me turning 30, I'm so grateful for this, and I'm going to receive like all of this stuff because now I'm focused on it, right? Because like with everything that you focus on, anything you have a positive outlook on, anything you see the future, you see the path, you usually get it, right? When you go through schooling, right? Okay, if I do this, whatever career or whatever thing I'm going after in school, I can go after this. I focus, I get good grades, I'm going to get that thing. If I, want to lose weight or work out, I know I'm going to eat like this, I'm going to work out like this. Okay, I'm going to get it. So everything that you have, that you do, that you want, you actually end up getting it just by staying positive and staying on that plan. And that's what I did, and I got it. So I highly, highly recommend you just like being excited about turning 30. Like 30 is great. I mean, turning 30, I love turning 30. Honestly, it was probably the best birthday I ever had. I celebrated in Mexico. I did my manifesting. I did my water manifesting. I was just in a vibe. And yeah, I've been up ever since. So yes, be excited for 30. Don't be scared. Hi, Joy. How are you? Thank you for being here. Okay, Precious. Hey. I feel like a lot of guys find me intimidating, and I don't want people to find me intimidating. How do I look more approachable? So I would definitely with that, if you think people find you intimidating, you need to figure out what part of you is intimidating. And you can ask your family or friends and say, what do you think looks intimidating about me? Like, people who you trust, and they're going to be honest with you, because those things are fixable, right? If it's like, oh, you kind of have like the RBF kind of face, then smile more. If you wear darker colors, wear brighter colors. So I would say that this is more of like someone else can tell you, that knows you, that sees you, and can evaluate like how you are on a daily or normal basis. Another thing is just being positive. If you're like a positive person and you kind of have like a nice like demeanor to you, people will find that more inviting rather than intimidating. So you want to just kind of check your vibes on that one. And I mean, obviously, or the people who are closest to you probably know. So just ask someone who's closer to you, or if you can be honest with yourself, whatever about you is intimidating, because people think like, oh, if you're really attractive, then men are intimidating by you. It's not necessarily because you're attractive, it's because the energy that you're giving off may be unattractive, or like, oh, don't talk to her. So you may not know, like you could be sitting there like at a restaurant, at a bar or something like that, and you're just kind of like looking like you don't want to be there, looking like you don't want to be talked to, and people aren't going to approach you. But if you're sitting there and you're like smiling and you're like talking to the bartender, or you're like, just being like friendly and just like in an upbeat energy, even if you're not smiling with your face, but inside you're smiling, then, people will talk to you. If you're wearing kind of nicer clothes and you're dressed really nice, and, people will come in and compliment you, that's a good way to gauge it as well. So I definitely would say, like, by you kind of tweaking things that you do, it could just be like the RBF, because a lot of us women have that, and we're just kind of like stone faced a little bit sometimes, but just like cracking a little smile, or an inside smile, or just giving a friendly demeanor will help. Okay, alchemy. I saw my ex recently after 3 years. He's a year younger. He looks much older than me now. He is not aged well at all. I am devastated over him now. I don't care at all about him. Okay, yeah. I mean, if you're married, I definitely wouldn't be focused on any other guy. I wouldn't really care um, about anything about that guy. So, yeah, I would, it's your ex, not important. Like, I don't really give exes that much energy because they're not my husband. There's a guy who married you, made the ultimate commitment to you, and then someone who didn't. And someone, if they did, they didn't last. So I definitely wouldn't be giving them any kind of energy. Yeah, seeing them, evaluating them, I have no comment on that. You're so welcome, Precious. Thank you for your question. Kings and queens family, how to get more attention from men you're dating. Okay, this is also another popular question. A way to get attention from men while you're dating. Well, first you got to look good. Like, that's that's the number one thing. I mean, men are very visual, right? So if you look good, you have a positive vibe, like, it's really all about vibes. And what people kind of underestimate is the girl next door vibe. See, this is something that I did want to make a video on down the road, but let's talk about it now. Women underestimate the girl next door vibe. So what is the girl next door vibe? The girl next door is hot, friendly, like kind of cool, and gives off like a, oh, like, hey, like she's not giving like too much, oh, I'm into you or anything like that. She's just giving off a cool vibe, but she's hot and she's friendly and she kind of does a little flirting. By doing that, men really love that. They love that vibe because they, again, with the approachability, you become approachable, but you look good, but you're cool, you're chill, you're not like too much. You're kind of like, a vibe. So you want to kind of check on your vibes and make sure they're cool. Another thing is you don't want to debate with him. You don't want to like give off like this we're debating type of vibe. You want to make it like a, I'm interested type of vibe. You don't want to be um overly, like, you don't want to be overly into him, because I think that's also like something that women tend to do, is like they kind of over compliment, over give, over text, over talk, over all that stuff. You kind of want to just keep it chill and keep it cute. So look good, keep chill, have positive vibes, be like outgoing, a little fun. Yeah, and then his attention should be on you. And as long as you're having fun when you're hanging out, the attention should be there. And he sees like, okay, we can progress in this, like there is an actual progression in your relationships and or your dating, like where he's like, okay, like, we're getting to know each other deeper. Another way to do that is by being vulnerable, just by opening up a little bit, something that's not actually going to hurt you, but like showing a little bit more vulnerability. That's obviously a way to keep the attention on you. But yeah, you really need to just kind of work on just kind of your vibes. Just vibes alone can keep a man interested. I mean, there was guys that I really wasn't that interested in, but I really was just like kind of cool and just hanging out like that. And they would always invite me to go out, and I would invite my friends with me. And they would like, oh, I wanted like a one-on-one date, but you brought your friends. Okay, fine. Then, I'll take care of you girls. Don't worry. But it was because my vibe was so cool that they just always wanted to hang out with me. And I would just kind of take advantage of that. So I think just keeping your vibes cool, always looking good, and just being positive. And men like to be around that. They like to be around feminine, positive, fun girls. So, yeah, I would definitely do that. So when the conversation is dry, how do you shift the conversation? So if the conversation goes dry, it depends. So if you're in like in text messaging and stuff like that, and the conversation is pretty much dry, it's pretty much dry. You can't go anywhere from that. But if you're face to face, I would just start talking about things that you're interested in, or I would talk about where we're at, or I would kind of compliment something about him. So I would just keep the conversation going. You do need to be some type of like conversationalist, is that a word? I don't know, but like you need to know how to like keep a conversation going. So I would talk about something that I'm interested in, something that we're at. I would compliment where he took me. I would just kind of keep it going like that. You can ask a question something that he knows and that he would have to explain for longer. So I would talk about that, like maybe something with his career, something he specializes in, where it would probably be boring, but like just to get the conversation going, and he sees like, oh, he's interested type of thing. So I would kind of go with that kind of vibe, because you don't want like complete dead spots, but I'm okay with like not talking sometimes, right? If we're just vibing out, we're hanging out, there are going to be times where, you're not talking and you're just like experiencing and liking it. And that's the time where you kind of use your flirty eyes. That's the time you like smile. That's the time that you're just kind of being in your feminine and like enjoying the experience. So you don't always have to talk. Like I said, over the phone, if he's texting and there's like nothing to say, then there's nothing to say. But in person, I think it's like nicer than him talking so much. But if he's not saying something, just sit there and smile, and and don't look to your phone. Don't try to like distract yourself, but like kind of look around and smile and like say something nice about the experience. And yeah, it should pick back up. So thank you so much for that question. All right, I have another question. I need to drink some water. Oh my gosh, don't tell me I can't find the question now. Okay. Let me answer this. You have a date tonight and you would need help with your wardrobe. Number one thing, if you have a date with a guy, wear a dress. Always wear a dress. I don't care what your style is, wear a dress. Men love dresses, especially if it's a first date, especially if you know you're going on a proper date, like a restaurant or something like that. Wear a dress. Preferably, maybe a red dress, something with color, the best looking dress. I don't care if you wore it last night on another date, wear a dress. That is like the easiest thing. Men love when women wear dresses. They compliment you more when you wear dresses. They look at you more femininely when you wear dresses. I don't know the study on this, but when you wear dresses, I feel like they're just even more gentleman-like. They kind of put themselves in like, okay, masculine male role because they see, you have a dress. They're going to open your doors. They're going to, make sure that you're taken care of. Wear a dress always. And heels. Don't wear flats. Definitely wear heels. Definitely wear makeup. Make sure your hair is done. Your makeup is good. Wear heels, wear a dress, and you'll be good to go. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. What do you think of dating apps? So dating apps are great. I think that people make dating apps a little harder than they need to be. I have a whole video on dating apps. You should definitely check it out. It's somewhere. It might be in the description actually. So yeah, but dating apps I think are great and very helpful. I think it's easier to meet a bunch of people without going out. Yeah, so I'm not against dating apps. There is obviously a technique to that, and yeah, I don't have any problems with dating apps. I think that you can use it to meet as much men as possible. You don't necessarily have to be where they're at, and if you want to meet a guy in a certain neighborhood, you don't necessarily got to live in that neighborhood or be in that neighborhood to meet him. So yeah, I definitely have no problems with dating apps. I think you should utilize them, especially if you're dating. You definitely need to be on them, because it's a thing. So you have to be having fun with it. If you're not like enjoying the dating process, if you're not enjoying meeting new people, if you're not enjoying having these experiences, then everything's going to suck. But if you enjoy meeting new people, you're enjoying like getting to know new men, possibly getting with a new guy, and feeling that kind of excitement of being wined and dined, and people being attracted to you and going out all the time, and talking to people and being around people, then dating apps is perfect. It just makes the process even faster, in my opinion. So I definitely think you should be on them. So someone asked me, what dating apps do I recommend? Okay, so with dating apps, I think, so it's funny, right? Because I help my clients all the time with dating apps and stuff like that. And there are some like ones that are like you need to be invited to be on and stuff like that, or it's like certain things. But I'm going to tell you guys this little thing. Every single guy who's on any dating app is also on this one dating app as well. So he can be on all of them, because men tend to be on like 5, 6, 10 different apps at one time. They're always on dating apps. But the one app that people don't even realize sometimes that they're all on, like every single one of them are on, is Tinder. And people don't realize, they're like, really? Isn't that just like hooking up and stuff like that? I'm like, well, all of the guys that you're talking to are also on Tinder. So if you want a hub of all the guys, I would say Tinder is like a great spot. I mean, when I was dating, I used Tinder. I thought it was like really easy to meet guys because they were all there. They were like all lining up. And this wasn't just like lower end guys. I'm like, I only date like men who are, of high caliber. And they were all on there. And I was on the league, and that one, had great guys, but all those same guys were on Tinder. So I was like, okay, you're on Tinder. I didn't like Hinge. They asked too many questions. If you ladies watch my video, I don't like answering questions. So all my dating apps pretty much had like no information. I only had Tinder and like the league and stuff, but I left like no information. If you wanted to know something, you could just ask me. And yeah, Hinge only had like kind of regular kind of guys that like answered a lot of questions and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely would just say like, just go for the app. You can use social media, you can use Instagram, you can use any of those apps as well. But yeah, I wouldn't hate on Tinder. Like, honestly, like majority of the guys that I dated when I was single that I did meet in apps, like not in person, it was through Tinder. And yeah, they were all great, successful guys. So I definitely would suggest, if you're thinking like, what app do I need to be on? I mean, obviously there's like Millionaire Match, there's so many sites, but I'm telling you, they're all on Tinder, like every single guy. Tinder is like Instagram and yeah, it is. It really is. Like, they're on there, and not everybody there is like looking for a hookup. So you don't have to think of that. Okay, I know I have another one. Okay. Hi, Isabel. Thank you so much for your videos. They're super helpful. I wanted to ask you if you could speak more about what you mentioned in the previous comment. How is it not about focusing on looks when it comes to men, and see their ability to provide and be a gentleman, and their interests, that men can become more attractive as they treat you well and provide? I've dated a couple men that are gentlemen and providers, but I just can't seem to find them attractive physically, even after giving them another chance and going on more dates. So I think this is also something that women go through. And the thing of it is, okay, so I was thinking of this, and I kind of think back of like the men that I dated, or even my husband. My husband is attractive, and most of the men that I dated are pretty attractive, but they're not like the most attractive guy, right? They're not like, oh my God. They're just like attractive, they're good looking, but their careers really made them more attractive, right? Their careers made them look like, oh, okay, this is something. So I think for me, because that's kind of like my mindset, where I'm not necessarily looking for like attractiveness. Like, I definitely don't want like him to be completely overweight, or like completely like, gross, don't even come close. But yeah, it's just not that big of a focus to me. And so I think it's kind of like preference. If you think attraction is like that important, and then you do want him to be like a gentleman provider and stuff like that, then you're gonna have to look even better, right? You're gonna have to up your looks and make your looks even better, and so you can attract that kind of guy as well. And also, I would just say grow up. Like, I know it sounds harsh, but like kind of grow up at that point, because it's not necessarily about looks. Like, looks don't matter. Like, when people get old, they look old. So it doesn't matter if they're good looking now or not. Like, you got to look at your life like, 10 years from now with the person, not just like what they look like here, because looks don't matter. Like, what lifestyle do you want? What do you want your life to look like? And I think that's something that we forget, is like, hey, you're not only, if you're thinking about marrying a person, you can't just think of right now, right here, what's going on right now. You got to look 10 years down the line. You got to look like, okay, what is my life going to look like? Like, for me, what is my life going to look like when I'm 40? And what is it going to look like with this guy? And then what is it going to look like with this guy? I'm going to go for the sure bet, because I already know everybody's turning old. I already know not everybody's going to look good for their whole entire life, but I need to make sure that when I get to this point in my life that I'm set. So I think that's part of maturing and knowing like, hey, you could go for looks all day, But if you find a man who maybe is not like a 10 or a 9 or a 6 or whatever number you're scaling him on, but he's like financially great, he's a gentleman, he loves you, he provides for you, he does all these nice things for you, I'm keeping him. I'm keeping him, because it doesn't matter about what he looks like if my life looks like this, and like the quality of life. And it's like, well, you want like to be, yeah. So that's just my take on it. Thank you for the question though. Yeah. Do you think it takes longer for women to warm up and decide on whether she wants to marry a man compared to men, where they know within the first week or so that they want to make a woman his wife? Do you think women take longer for I mean, it depends on where her focus is when she's dating. So if women first start off and they know like, hey, I'm dating for marriage, you know, this is what I want, this is what are my boundaries, these are the values that I'm looking for in a man, this is a husband, these are the things that I want in the long run, then I think it's pretty soon that she'll figure that out, because she already knows what she's looking for. It only takes a while if you don't know what you're looking for. So it's the same thing with men. The reason, see, okay, so with men, they need to like feel emotionally like, oh my God, I want to be with her. But with women, logically, it needs to make sense. So if he's like providing, protecting, he's a gentleman, he's, you know, got everything going on that you want on your value list, like that's what he wants, you're going to want to be with that guy. You're going to want to marry that guy. But for a man, is like, if he feels emotionally connected to you, like he can be vulnerable with you, like he can, like he loves being around you, like he gets this feeling of like, dang, I love her, then he's going to know. So I think that's the thing to remember with men and women, is that when we do choose spouses, we choose them differently. And that's okay. That's actually even better. So for women, like, use your femininity, use your emotions, use those type of things to get men. And when you're looking for, you know, your husband, if you're looking to get married, then you definitely need to be thinking about like your values and what you actually want and desire in a husband, because yeah, that needs to be in line first. And then you can like weed them out faster. Like when I knew I was dating for marriage, anybody who didn't fit the bill, like I was able to like, okay, not him, not him, not him, not him, not him, not, you know, and I was able to like narrow it down like even faster and like get through these guys quicker. Because again, I was actively dating. So I wasn't just dating like one guy at a time. I was just like, okay, I'm dating for marriage. Like this process has to like speed up. I can't waste time with just one person and spend like months with this person or a year with this person. And then like down the line, like, okay, we're not going to be matched. Like, no, I want to get married. So I need to get this process done, you know, sooner rather than later. So I was rotational dating. I had a roster of guys, you know. I tell you guys this all the time. Like my husband, he was in between two dates. I had a date before him, and I had a date that I had a date with him the day before I met him, and a date with after we had our date. And so right, he was right in the middle. And yeah, I went on a date with one guy and he was great. The next day I went on a date with him, and then the next day I went on a date with someone else, and then I circled back to him because I really enjoyed our time together. And yeah, so I definitely think like you will know who you want pretty quickly, as long as you know what you want. And you should know what you want, especially if you're dating for marriage, because yeah, and men do that too. Men are really good at going after what they want and not compromising on it. And so if you don't fit the bill of like what he's looking for, then you know, he'd probably still be with you, but he's going to waste your time. He's still going to be actively looking, and you know, it's just never going to turn into marriage. But for women, like you should be, you know, actually on it and know what you want. Hey, Kat, only go for the guys that have their career stated on their profile. Oh my God. Okay. So that to me, easiest thing to do on dating apps is definitely to look at. I always look at their careers. That's like the number one thing that I look at, and then I look at everything else that they have going on, and then and I see like if they're gonna annoy me or not, because I'm not a type of person that likes to be like, I don't like overtly show people that I'm annoyed, but I do get annoyed with people if they're like annoying. So, and then it becomes like, okay, I don't want to be around you. So I pretty much like keep it to like focusing on like careers. What does he do? Like if he says, I tell you ladies this in my videos, but like if he says like I'm a doctor or I'm a surgeon or I'm an attorney and stuff, he goes up the list, right? Because it's like, okay, now you're someone that I can, you know, now I can see what's going on here. If he says, okay, I'm an entrepreneur, we need to know what business you do. Like there's more to know than just entrepreneur. That's just like a blanket statement. So need more information. If he says, hey, I'm a president of a company, or I'm the owner of this company and stuff like that, okay, you're on the list. But you know, you start evaluating at career first, because the last thing you want is a brokey. Because yeah, nobody's doing any brokies. Nobody has time for that. We're grown women here. We don't got time for brokies. So yeah. Yeah, and women know, yeah, they definitely know when they meet them, because they know what they want. Alchemy says, my husband attracts a lot of women. Women ask him for help wherever we go, help them pick up different heavy things. Sorry, I'm like trying to read. Okay. Women ask him for help wherever we go, help to pick heavy things, help for directions. They also start conversations with him. How do I stop caring? Um, I just be unbothered. Just know like that your husband attracts women, and I mean, I would definitely just like be unbothered by it and kind of just let it be, because you probably attract a lot of attention as well. So if you attract attention as well, and then he's attracting attention, then yeah, I wouldn't be bothered by it. You guys are married, you're together, it's not that big of a deal. If you don't attract that much attention, then I would just level up my looks even more. I would definitely like kind of even out that playing field where you're getting like just as much attraction. But most men are respectful, so they're not going to like approach you in any kind of way. They'll probably approach your husband and give him compliments on you. But yeah, I wouldn't be so bothered. Like I wouldn't you know, take it as anything if nothing's going on. I'm married, so I don't do this, but maybe I should. How do I start asking men for help in front of their wives or girlfriends? I feel don't. I think don't play that game. If you don't need actual help, then yeah, I wouldn't ask for help in front of people's. I think that, you know, it's low key trying to be disrespectful if you're thinking I should go do that, and I am gonna go do that because that happens to me. So like I wouldn't play that game necessarily. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't go and play that game with someone else's wife or it's not that deep. I would just focus on like looking really good, and you know, being in that vibe. Like if you look really good, like that's the thing, like making sure that you look good all the time also helps you with other women. So if they see like, okay, she's really attractive, most women are gonna compliment you, and they're gonna be like up on you and like, oh my god, like you're so good. Like I said before, my husband is pretty good looking. A lot of women find him attractive. I look even better. You know, I dress better. I look better. I have like better clothes and stuff like that. So I kind of look better. So most of those women come to me and are saying, "Oh my God, you look so beautiful. I love what you have on. Like I love your hair. I love this." So like just work up on your own femininity and what you look like, and just be about yourself. Like once you're more like about yourself, feeling yourself, leveling up your looks, none of that stuff is gonna even bother you. And then other wives or other girlfriends or those women who are attracting to him, they're going to look at you. They're probably not going to try it. And if they do, like, I look good. I don't care. How do I protect my feminine energy? Yeah, so great question as well. So just knowing that, like, this is a part of you, it's nothing to do with um anything else. It's in you. You're already feminine. You already have that in you. And stay in there for any situations when people are trying to take you out of it. Retreat in your femininity. This is something that a lot of women tend to kind of mess up on because they use their masculinity in the face of their femininity when they're working or they're trying to do masculine things. But the main thing that you need to remember is that you get more done being feminine. So use your femininity, even at work. So if you're working, I use this a lot when I was working. I would like do the least thing possible and I would have a positive attitude and I would just always be like, just like in my little feminine bubble, and I would have people doing things for me. I would have people bending over backwards for me. So just staying in that vibe, staying in your femininity, always looking good, like that's the main thing. Like whatever makes you feel most feminine, stay in that vibe and don't try to go outside of that. And that's you. We're all feminine women. We're women, right? We have that femininity. Even men have that femininity. We express it outwardly as well, but just be in that femininity and enjoy it. Don't think of it as like, I need to be feminine, I need to be masculine. You're a woman, you're feminine. You got that. Stay in that. And that's another thing that like, I wanted to kind of touch on is like, we all have like, when I say like goddess check-in, so when you think of the goddesses, you can think of the Greek goddesses or the ancient Egyptian goddesses. We have that as women. All of those goddesses are within us. What the goddesses are just characteristics and archetypes in women's nature. So you have like all these goddess energies inside of you, whether it's Athena, whether it's Diana, whether it's Isis, whatever it may be. You have it all inside of you. So just tapping into each goddess and in that femininity and working that in your actual life. So staying in your femininity, staying positive, staying in your vibe, and you'll be fine. Catherine says, be confident in your man. He's only being kind. It bothers me that he attracts damsel in distress women. Yeah, I mean, girl, level up. You be his damsel in distress. Girl, you ask him for more things. He's so busy trying to figure out things for you. He has no other time to worry about helping other women. Like, become that damsel to him, to your husband. Like, that's the thing. When you're married to someone, you take up all their energy. You take up all their time. You take up all their resources. You're his wife. So if he has time to go talk to other women, then you're not taking up enough of his time. So he can't go help you because he's helping me. Okay. So I would just kind of focus on that and just be like, his attention is here. So don't need to go out there and help them. Because if it bothers you, yeah, take up more of his time, be more feminine, look better, and just, be more needy. Why not? Let's see. I'm getting more questions. Okay. From K Puppy. She says, thank you. Question. I've tried most of this stuff before. Okay, this is about the online dating, especially the ones that you don't ask the guy out. but wait for them to do that. But if I do that, I never get asked out. The only dates I've ever been on are the ones I've asked out the man. No man asked me out. What do I do? How do I get them to ask me out? So that's a good question. Um, so if these guys aren't trying to ask you out, like the main thing that you need to do, first of all, look good, like, and make sure your photos look really good. And this is something that I do one-on-one, and I help women choosing their photos, but I'll give you like a little bit of the rundown. The main like thing you need to make sure in your photos, you have one of your full body of you looking really nice in a dress, another one of you smiling as well, just like a selfie smiling, another one of you doing something that maybe you enjoy, that's fun. And that's pretty much like kind of all you really need. And you can kind of mix it up in there. Don't do anything raunchy. Don't do anything that's less attractive or being silly or anything like that. You want to make sure that you look good. Number one thing, your photos need to look good. So I don't know what your photos are looking at like, but make sure your photos look good, you look good, and you should pretty much be getting guys trying to ask you out. If they're not trying to ask you out, I would definitely like don't engage too much in conversation. Like I wouldn't put anything on my profile. I wouldn't like talk too much online or anything like that. Like if he wants to know things about you and see you, he's going to have to ask you out. He's going to make more of an initiative. So I would work on my looks, work on my profile picture, take off information about myself on my profile. Like I'm not going to tell you what I like to do or anything like that. And just kind of keep it like more of like, I look good, you want to hang out with me type of thing. And I definitely wouldn't be reaching out to any of these guys because essentially like they don't I don't like reaching out to people. Like it's not my thing. Like when you're online dating, so you're basically on neutral footing with these guys when you're online dating. You both are there equally, right? There's no masculine, no feminine. You both are there. So you're looking for someone. The way you get the dynamic of like masculine and feminine is by when you're connected with someone that you allow them now to talk to you and begin the conversation. So they're in their masculine, and you receiving the conversation and responding is now on that feminine pole. So you want to make sure that you're keeping like your masculine and feminine polarities at all times. And in online dating, the way to do that is by once you both like each other, then you retreat back and you allow the person to approach you, to ask you on dates, to ask you, the things, and then you guys are able to go out. But I wouldn't change that dynamic just because, this certain guy isn't talking to me. And it does depend on even what kind of guys are you trying to reach out to on there. Are they like actual provider guys? Are they just like really good looking guys? Are they, there's just so much there that you definitely need to look at. What do your photos look like? Yeah, you're marketing yourself when you're online dating. Of course, they don't last when you're the one who reached out first. Yeah, and that's the thing that I think you need to remember is like staying in your femininity actually makes them stay longer. And even to Alchemy's point, when you're the damsel in distress, when you're the one who's needing all the attention, when you're the one who's like, you need to come to me, I need you, then the guy has no choice. That's how you keep his attention. That's how you keep him coming towards you. That's how you keep all of that like to you, is by you needing the attention. You don't do the work. You're asking for more work to be done for you. So I definitely suggest that. Sorry guys if there's noise. There's work going on in the house right now. Let me see. Okay. Someone wrote, I think women should message first. Men choose women. Women choose men. Men don't choose women. I don't agree. I definitely think, as a feminine woman, you let them approach you. Um, I think that's the questions that I see. Um, I'm trying to find. Okay, let me. Can you do how to keep a man? Because I can't. Um, that's funny. So, how to keep a man? Okay, you can't keep a man who doesn't want to be kept. We'll start there. Men who, you can't convince a man to stay with you. He's going to want to stay with you. If he doesn't want to be with you, he's not going to be with you. And I think that's something to remember when you're dating or when you're doing any of this kind of dating, is that you can't force a guy to be with you. It's either he wants to or he doesn't. Men are not like women. They can't be manipulated by women to actually want to be with the woman. If he doesn't want to be with you, it's not going to happen. And so, remembering that, another thing is everything else that I said, your looks, what, like how much attention you're bringing to this, how you make him look, how, your vibe, your energy. So those kind of things matter too. And like what it's like, the experience of being with you. You have to think about like your values and what you bring to the table. And I hate saying that, but like you do have to think about that, is like what it is being with you. Does he value that? Is that something that he looks to in a woman? And again, if a man doesn't want to be kept, you can't keep him. So move on. And the best thing, have options. So if he doesn't want you, you can just move on over. Okay, let me look. Okay, I don't think I'm seeing any. If I am, I'm just not getting through it. I can't see everything. All right. So ladies, just let me know if you have any more questions left here. We've been on for over an hour, so that's awesome. Okay. How do I stop self-sabotaging? So, another good question. Self-sabotaging is something we all kind of do in different types of ways. And I think just accepting like this is something that we all do. We all self-sabotage and we all like do those things, but it's just being mindful on which way you're doing it. So if you're doing that in relationships and stuff like that, then have a serious conversation with yourself and knowing like, what do I really want? And the stuff that I'm self-sabotaging myself with, is it because I really don't want it? Is it because I don't find it valuable? Is it because I just don't want to do it? Am I being lazy? Am I scared? So kind of attacking it on like a inquisitive way, where you're just asking yourself like, why am I actually doing this? And then once you realize whether it's like, oh no, I really want this, but I'm doing this, or I'm scared or something like that, then you can address it in that kind of way. Because we self-sabotage all the time. That's just part of human nature, right? We want to do something like, say you want to lose weight, and then you end up eating a cupcake and you're like, why did I just do that? But we do that all the time. But you have to address that head on and like say like, what's my goal? What do I really want? And then am I able to actually get past this? Is this something that I actually want? Am I just being lazy? Am I actually scared of this? So just by using that. Yeah, it says men pick and women decide. The bees come to honey. Yes, yes, girl. Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. You decide as women on whether you want to be with the person. I mean, men ask you to marry them and they say, well, will you marry me? Right? They've picked you to ask, and you have to decide whether or not you're actually going to do it. So yeah, definitely, totally agree. Thank you so much for advice. Love your videos. Oh, thank you so much for being here and supporting. Love that you're here. Yeah. So I think if that's all the questions, I'm going to look through this again to see if there was any questions that I missed, and then I'll be signing off. So get your questions in now, because I like have all these lights and I'm like getting a little, I should drink some water. All right. So I don't think I see any more questions, but this was so much fun. Oh my God, I'm loving this whole live setup. Um, please like the video, share it, comment, all that good stuff for me, because I truly, truly appreciate it. This was so much fun. I actually want to do more now, because I think this is like something that, will kind of help you ladies out. I think you found value in it. So maybe I'll do more. Let me know if I should do more of these, because it was really fun. Obviously, I'll still have like my videos that I make where I talk about specific topics, but I think going live is fun. Maybe we can do it more often, especially like this setup where you ladies ask me questions and I can like answer them in real time. So wait, there's another question. Why do women take care of men financially? So it's because that's unfortunately, women have been bamboozled into thinking their value is also in their wallet, like men's value is in their wallet, and so they've used their wallet to get men and to keep men, to try to keep men. And yeah, that's just something that society has been trying to push on women, just so men can get a easier time and get a little break on the finances, that they have women that's willing to give men a break on that finance. And I'll leave it at this, that make sure when you're dating a guy that you're thinking also of yourself and not just of other people. Because I do have a friend that she asked me, she wanted to go out to dinner, and she was going out with this guy, and she asked me if, like, what should she say about how should she approach it so she can make sure she goes to a nice place. And I just told her, I was like, oh, well, you can just tell him, like, because he did ask her, like, oh, what do you want to do? Like, where do you want to go? And I was just like, oh, well, tell him that you love fine dining, so anywhere he chooses would be nice. And she was like, well, I don't want to sound like a gold digger. And I was just like, well, she's much younger than me. And I was just like, why do you care if he thinks that you sound like a gold digger or not? Like, this is the idea that like women have been like trapped in this idea of thinking, like, if I say this, I sound like a gold digger. If I do this, it's like a gold digger, or it makes him feel like this. Stop doing that. Who cares if he thinks this is what you sound like? Men don't care if it makes him sound like a whore if he asks you to sleep with you, right? He doesn't care if you think of him in that way. He doesn't care to ask you for 50-50. He doesn't care to ask you to go against your morals or go against your boundaries or go against anything. Why do you care that he thinks if you're a gold digger or not? Why do you care if he knows that you're not going to put any money into this? Why do you care if he knows that you're not going to sleep with him? Why do you care? Stop caring, because he doesn't care. He will tell you. Men are really, really good at telling you what they want and what they don't want. And they're really good at cutting you off if you're not what they want. So you need to be equally the same. You need to equally have those boundaries and say, well, this is what I want to do. If you don't want to do that, then we're not a match. Okay, that's fine. You don't obviously have to be blunt like that. You don't have to be rude or anything like that, but you can like make a case. And let me tell you this, ladies, nice things and doing nice things and experiencing nice things, when a man has money, it doesn't matter to him if you want to do nice things or if you want him to buy you nice things or something like that. He has the money to do that. It's not a big of a deal. He's not thinking, oh, she's a gold digger. If he looks at you and thinks, oh my God, she's a sweet girl, I love being around her, I love her, her vibe, everything is good with her. He's not thinking, oh, she's a gold digger. Broke men call women gold diggers because they don't have the money. They think everything is expensive. They look at the economy, oh my God, I'm broke. Boy, you've been broke before the economy went down. So that's the thing. Like, that's why I tell you, date. First of all, the first thing you look at when you're dating is what his career is. What is his way of life? What does life look like with him? Because if he's struggling and if he's like on a tight budget and all that stuff, does your lifestyle, where you see your life going, does that go with that? And if that goes with that, then fine. You know, if you are low maintenance or anything like that, then fine, go with that guy. But if you know you're high maintenance, which I suggest all you ladies to be, is high maintenance. Even if you're low maintenance, bring it up some more, because you want to make sure that he knows like there's a lot to keep up with. If you know you're high maintenance or stuff like that, be clear about that. Be clear about the experience that you want and date within that. The women who aren't, they will date the other guys. You don't date those guys. You know, that's fair, I believe. So yeah, I know that was a little bit of a rant, but I think that was important to get out there, is like, stop settling for things that you don't actually want in a relationship. Look to the things that you actually want, the people that you actually want to date, and you will experience that. And everybody else will fall to the side. Everybody else can call you a gold digger. I mean, in my comments, I have people calling me entitled, people calling me, you know, all types of names, and basically saying that I'm the worst or whatever. But in the reality, none of that stuff matters, right? Because my husband is perfectly fine with the way that I am. He's perfectly fine with the money that he has to spend on me, the money that it's going to require to keep up our lifestyle, all that stuff. He's perfectly fine with it because I chose a man who can afford it. Make sure you choose accordingly. And can you please share, where do you buy your clothes from? Oh yeah, of course. So even just thinking of, so I like mid-range brands, but I do some fast fashion. Like this top is from Express. This skirt is from Banana Republic. Obviously, I have a designer Gucci belt on. I like designer accessories. I like shoes that are designer. I like belts, bags, and stuff like that are designer. But I pretty much like Banana Republic. That's like one of my favorite stores. I do like Express. Zara is pretty cool. So if we're thinking like those kind of ranges, like little fast fashion, but like Banana Republic is pretty like mid-range. That's really good. Reese is really nice for a mid-range brand. Karen Millen has some great stuff. I like going on like Nordstrom and like looking at the different designers on there, but I pretty much like keep it to like mid-range. H&M has some cute stuff as well. Yeah, but I look to like what aesthetic I like, and I think for me, my color scheme, what I like aesthetic wise, Banana Republic is probably like my favorite store out of all of them, because I just always find what I'm looking for and what I like. And yeah, so that's kind of what I like to wear. And I mean, designer stuff that I like to wear. With clothes, I like Vince Theory. I guess those are mid-range brands. They're not like high-end designers, but they are like really good designers. So like Theory and Vince and Reese are probably like those top ones. And I like Ralph Lauren. So yeah, and I think those are all pretty elegant and nice. You can always find something nice there. I would kind of stay away from like the lower, like fashion what is it, Fashion Nova or anything like that, like with cheaper materials. You want actually, like, it doesn't have to be super expensive, but you just want them to be like structured clothing and like nice stitching and things that look pretty nice and don't look cheap, because if things look more expensive, people can tell, and usually like I get good compliments. Okay, thank you for sharing. You always look gorgeous. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, guys. Okay, so I have to get off this live. Super excited that we did this. Gonna definitely do it again. Please like and share and comment and subscribe. And thank you so much. We are now over 1,000 subscribers. Super excited for that. And I'm so grateful to all of you who've done that. Again, in the description, you will see that I left a little gift for you. It's my love book. It's not an actual chapter book, but it is a workbook, and that is for manifesting your soulmate. So definitely check that out. It's absolutely free. It's my gift to you. And thank you so much for being here. I love all of you ladies. I wish you all the absolute best. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.